I read recently that you are working on or thinking about a memoir.
I am.
What a remarkable like next step for you. I feel like you've obviously written songs about your story, but writing a book is like another level. How has that been for you as you start like going through that process? That's a lot.
Yeah, it's been, I've come near like the end of writing it.
Oh, wow.
For at least with the first like pass through it all.
Sure.
And it's been difficult because a lot of times to talk about who you are now, you have to go back into your past, things you've moved on from already. It's like, oh, that. And you have to talk about the things that you still haven't fully processed yet. So it's like really weird. It's like things about your past that still scare you, like the child in you that it's like, I never processed this and I moved on from it, but here it is again. But this has made me who I am. And navigating back where it's like, oh, like this are the first times I remember feeling queer. And it was like before puberty and things, but it's like how to help people understand what it means to be queer. Cause a lot of people think, oh, you just one day as an adult decide to be gay. And if you're gay, then you're a pervert. And it's like, well, actually it's like, since I was a kid, it's like, you'd start feeling like, oh, I'm different, but why? Like and no one explains to you what it is. Like, at least back then, like, especially being in like a kid in elementary school in Utah, where it's like marriage, you marry your wife if you're a man, and that's the end. You have lots of kids and happy ever after. And it's like, okay, what do I do if I don't fit what I'm being told? Like, and this doesn't make any sense, but I'm too little to know that there's such thing as a different kind of sexuality than just straight. But yeah, it's not just about my queer journey. It's about life in general and American Idol and all these other things. And I'm excited to teach people about my life, and hopefully it'll help people a little bit better on their journey, especially with coming out, especially if they grew up religious like I did. That's the biggest goal with it.
Was it cathartic for you writing this stuff? Like saying you haven't processed it, has it been helpful to get it on paper and be like, oh, okay, this happened and whew.
It has been. Yeah. And sometimes it's just like, it's kind of, I think what's interesting about it is you realize certain things that happen in your life, even though it was a long time ago, how much it still affects you.
Yeah.
And in the back of your head, it's like, oh, it was just like one little moment, but it's like, it's still like, it affects the way you think, the way you act, the way you believe. And so sometimes you have to look at it. It's like, why did this affect me so much? Even I was a 9-year-old when this happened, or I was 12 when this happened. And it's like shaped my whole perception of other people and life. And it's weird. So, but it's been healthy to try and process. I haven't been able to process all of it, to be honest. I need to go back to a therapist. It's been a minute since I've seen a therapist, but therapists are great to have an outside perspective. But anyway.
One of the things I think about whenever I'm reading like memoirs is like, how did this person remember this conversation that happened, or all the details? Was that like, I think about that as if I were to write one, not that anything interesting happened in my life, but like, how do you remember all these little intimate or intricate conversations and get it on paper?
Yeah. Some memories are just like so clear, and maybe some that because you've talked about them so much throughout life. At least that's how it's been for me. Because there have been some things where I'm like, I don't remember all the details. So I've called my siblings and my parents and my grandparents. I'll be like, hey, this is what I remember of this. Like, can you give me your idea? And then like, we start like building all of it together. It's like, oh yeah. And then this happened. Oh yeah. And then that happened. And it's like, okay, thanks. And then I go back to writing.
Yeah.